What's going on there, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Craftavore Taste, and today we're digging into a beer from a brewery that I've wanted to feature on the channel for quite some time now, and that is none other than Suarez Family Brewery out of Livingston, New York. Yeah, so if you haven't heard of Suarez Family Brewery, in my opinion, they are one of the best breweries in the Hudson Valley region, if not potentially the best. And owner-operator Dan Suarez comes from a pretty strong craft beer pedigree. Dan actually, I think, was born in Brooklyn, New York, started his brewing career at Six Point, but is probably most famously known for one of the first employees for Sean Hill at Hill Farmstead when they opened their doors in 2010. Yeah, so a lot of those kind of, Hill Farmstead aesthetics, brewing techniques, philosophies, as it relates to how they produce their beer, Dan has kind of translated over and brought with him when he opened the doors of his own place, I believe in 2016. So yeah, the brewery's about an hour and a half drive from me, and I try to go up as often as I possibly can, which is probably not as much as I should. And I was just up there this past weekend doing some cherry and strawberry picking with the family, and there's no way I'm not heading up to Columbia County, New York, and not stopping at Suarez Family. So picked up a couple of growlers and thought that I'd review them here for your on the channel. So a couple of things about the beers at Suarez Family Brewery. So Dan likes to call that he brews crispy little beers. It's really interesting. Pretty much every beer that you're going to have at Suarez Family Brewery doesn't really isn't bigger in ABV than maybe mid fives. Like, honestly, I think the majority of the stuff tops out at 5.2. But yeah, so like super crushable, quaffable, easy to drink beers. He does a mixture of ales and lagers, traditional styles, new American kind of styles. What's really interesting is that you're not going to see any IPAs, and you're certainly not going to see any double IPAs. The majority of his hoppy ales are pretty much of that pale ale variety. So really kind of simple stuff. That's actually the beer that we're diving into today. The beer is called actually Homespun. It is a pale ale brewed with spelt and a mixture of both American and European hops. So coming in at 4.2% ABV, I picked up a growler of it, and yeah, it's one of Dan Suarez's crispy little beers. So let's go ahead. I've actually already poured it into a glass. That beautiful, gorgeous Suarez Family Brewery, almost wine glass here. Absolutely incredible glassware there as well. Let's dive our nose into it and get an aroma. Or actually, excuse me, start this off right. Take a look at the appearance, get the aroma, taste it, and of course we're going to rate. All right, guys, so appearance of beer. So beer comes in just a kind of super kind of light yellow, almost straw or hay kind of color. Had about a finger and a quarter of just a nice kind of bright white fluffy head when I poured it in a second go. So just going to move that around a little bit as well. There's, right amount of carbonation. Beer looks absolutely crushable, looks incredibly crisp, looks beautiful. All right, so let's dive our nose into it and get an aroma. So right out at the front of the nose, I get kind of a nice little pop of kind of grapefruit zest kind of going on. The best word to describe the beer and the best word to describe Dan's beers are delicate. You do not get an overwhelming sense of grapefruit in the nose, but it's there. It's delicate, it's kind of subtle, and the best word I can probably describe it is kind of gentle. A little bit of pine in on the back end and a bit of sweetness from the malt. But if there's a way that I can say that a beer smells clean, it's this beer. It absolutely smells incredibly clean and expertly brewed, if that makes sense. Just like incredibly well done from the nose alone. Last but certainly not least, a little bit of kind of graininess coming from what I assume is that spelt. Smells freaking awesome. Let's dive our nose into it. Or excuse me, man, why am I screwing up all of my all my words this evening? Let's get a taste. Cheers. Yeah, so again, in the taste, follows through in a little bit of kind of like grapefruit, almost to some degree, like white grape, if that kind of makes sense. There's a little bit of a slight kind of vinous characteristic going on there. The mouthfeel on the beer is where it completely shines. Like, the beer is borderline fluffy. Coming in at 4.2% ABV, it's clean, it's crushable, it's like, it's one of those beers that you just want to sit back. It could be a summer day, fall day, winter, after mowing the lawn, after snow plowing, like whenever. This is a drinking beer. One in for another taste. Oh my God. Yeah, just so expertly brewed, so well handcrafted. The brewing techniques are obviously out of this world. Again, it's super clean. It's absolutely crushable. White grape, grapefruit, a little bit of kind of citrus going on there, or excuse me, not citrus, a little bit more kind of tropical fruits going on there, and a bit of kind of slight, maybe potential like mango-ness. But again, like there's a balance and a delicateness to the beer, that it's not like over the top and in your face. I think I mentioned previously, it's a super, super small ABV. It's only 4.2%. And so, yeah, best way to describe it is incredibly delicate, gentle, subtle, not over the top, but everything's there to kind of produce this incredibly crushable, drinkable, expertly brewed beer. All right, one last sip, then we'll give her a rating. My God, awesome. All right, so rating time. Homespun, Suarez Family Brewery, hoppy spelt pale ale, coming in at 4.2% ABV. 4.35 caps. I could say that one pretty quickly, simply based on the fact that these are the kind of beers that, as I'm aging, I'm seeking out more and more. Of course, I want double dry hopped IPAs, double IPAs like anybody else. But those days are becoming fewer and fewer and far between. I still love my over-the-top, massive kind of New England-style juice bombs. I love, obviously, my crushable high ABV West Coast-style IPAs. God, I mean, I love every single beer style there. But what I will say is that lower-end ABV, expertly handcrafted, crushable beer that screams multiples is what I'm leaning myself more into these days. Just simply from the fact that I want to sit back and I want to kind of enjoy them, and I want more beers that have a sense of drinkability to them. So that's what I'm leaning towards. All right, so Homespun, 4.35 caps from the Craftavore Taste. That'll do it for this episode. I hope you join me again for another episode where I drink, I review, I rate, and then I repeat. Cheers, guys.